don't have the first two in here, unfortunately. Because the last one, he said that he'd apply for both zoning and blight, but before that, he gave, little resumes. But unfortunately, I didn't put them in here, but you're certainly welcome to see them, you know, anytime you want, but they're not there right now.
You made a motion, there's no support.
There was support.
I
Was
support
there?
it.
Sorry, didn't hear it. Okay, motion and support to,
Do we do these kind of things with roll call, or,
you can if you want.
well, what do you want?
Doesn't matter,
You're the man. Okay, well, just do it however you want.
however you want, you made the motion. Anybody can call for a roll call if you want.
Okay, I'm not calling for a roll call.
I am. Now that you mention it. Don't mention it again.
Okay, what's your vote?
Yes.
Klein,
Yes.
Comer, yes, Freeman,
Yes.
okay.
Now we have a job, light officer, zoning administrator job description.
Yeah. It's in here someplace.
I see it. It's not designated in any way to replace anything, but I don't know that we had one to begin with, is that correct?
You didn't.
Okay.
No, Don and I worked a little bit on this one, so we have one.
Okay, so, can we at least put a date on here? What's today's date? 21st. So 10/29/19. So I will make a motion to adopt the officer zoning administrator job description as described in the board packet, 10/21/19. At least to give us something to start with.
I'll second that.
A motion and a second to adopt it. Have you had a chance to read it?
No.
Well, take your time. Just give some guidelines.
You think 10 days in between tickets is enough?
What do you got?
10 days in between citations, you think that's enough? We can't give them something a little bit better?
Oh, we can change
I
it.
mean, if people are working or whatever like that, you know, they
This is
still
a
got,
proposal, you know.
right. So we're voting to adopt this as a proposal or as an
Yeah.
actual?
No, as an actual, but it can be changed right now.
I don't think it's ready yet.
What do you think?
I definitely would've liked to been a part of this one a little bit more than that. I think 10 days isn't enough. I think giving them a 30-day, you know, window for something like that is enough.
Other than that, is
Yeah,
that
that's my
okay?
only argument. I think 10 days, turn around and hit them again, and 10 more days, and then turn around and hit them again. I think if you give them a 30-day window to clean up whatever their deficiency is, I think that's fair, but I don't agree with 10 days.
I see a citation, but it doesn't say that the citation would have to have any.
Number 5, any citation must issue at each 10-day interval if the deficiency is not corrected.
But
So
you
for
think
every
the
10
rest of it's
days.
okay, except
Yeah.
you change that 10 to 30.
Yeah,
Is that, did anybody make a motion to accept the shed?
Yes, I did, and
You did?
Yes.
Okay, will you accept that amendment?
30 days. S after day and 3 instead of the 1. And I'll accept that, yes.
Okay, has it been seconded? Yeah, by Freeman.
Does
Okay,
Freeman accept the changes?
Yes.
I just want something for them to work on.
yeah, this will be a good start. We can change it around if we need.
Was there a reason as to why it was 10 days? Did Donnie have a reason why he gave 10 days?
That's how it's been, but I always give them extra time. That was always the discretion of the zoning administrator or blight officer. If they're
If they
working
look like
towards
they're
it, you give them
attempting to
10,
it.
you give them 30. Some cases I gave 60 on certain things, so that's up, I mean, that was his call, but to make it more direct, then I guess after 30 days you give them tickets. You can do it that way too, but that's how it's always been,
Okay.
10 days, but you can get more time.
Okay.
It wasn't cut in stone after 10
It
days you
was
got
just,
tickets, so.
if you seen they were working at it,
Yeah, I
then
mean,
you'd
that
extend
was,
it.
that was their call, but if you do that, then that's pretty much cut in stone. That
Right.
first complaint, 30 days later, if they haven't cleaned up, we'll give them a citation, you can go that route. Whatever the board thinks proper on it.
Or maybe 10-day follow-ups were great. I mean, if somebody's ignoring you, you're gonna find out a lot
The
faster.
problem with 30 days, you're gonna give them more time, you give them another 30 days after 30, or you expect to get a ticket that day, I mean, that's
Right,
how you wanna do it. I mean, if you- I suppose if you stay cut in stone and give 30 days, you get a citation, it'd be okay, you could try that, you can always change it if it doesn't work for you.
Well, the way this was worded on number 5 though, another citation must issue each 10-day interval that the deficiency isn't corrected. So I mean, that's saying you're gonna give somebody a ticket every 10 days.
doesn't
Yeah, but
mean
it
that
doesn't say
there's,
that anymore.
doesn't say that there would be a penalty for the citation, but it does help your case if you have to take it to court. That every 10 days you followed up and they didn't do anything. But that can be worked out, doesn't matter, it's at 30 now. But I thought, just because it's a citation doesn't mean you have to fine. Good record. But I will, I'll accept it. All in favor of the 10/21/19 with the correction?
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay. Motion passed. Now, the other thing, we had in the, see, I gotta tear this apart. We have a salary resolution of some sort, and we need to have a motion on that.
Okay, I move that we pay the blight, and zoning administrator $300 a month to start, plus mileage at the federal rate of up to $200 a month. That'd be for the winter, and then we can decide in the spring, you know, we're not very busy in the winter. But in the spring, we can decide if it's adequate or not.
Is there a reason we're lowering the pay for that position?
Yeah, because Don got paid too much for the winters. Where'd he go?
Don,
Uh,
they're looking for you.
See, they don't have any work in the winter, basically.
Well, I understand that. It's
And,
just,
and we should, and we should pay as much as Don got, starting April, May, something like that, and we can do that in this year. We can say, you know, until May 1st and then more, or whatever you wanna do. But, they don't have any work in the winter. So,
Blight falls off in the winter.
how much do you wanna
It
pay them
does.
in the winter?
Zoning also?
Yes, both of them. And the reason for it, when you can't give out, if it has a stone, you give a ticket, then it stows, there's, 2 foot of snow on it, how can you tell the judge if you're gonna go through with it? He said, well, I cleaned that up, that's just not, so it doesn't really work that way, unless we got a good year where there's not a lot of snow, where you can see improvement or not, so. But yeah, you get a lot less in the summer, or in the winter.
That makes sense. Any more
Zoning,
discussion?
or blight, or zoning permits usually issued March through maybe October, November, and pretty much you're done for the rest of the year.
By the way, you've not given a zoning report, but I've seen you hand out a tremendous amount of zoning permits this year.
30, I've given out 30 this year. I usually, at the end of the year, I usually give you a tally. It's not the end of the year, but I'll tally that up, and
That's great.
we've got, as of today, we got 30 that I approved.
That's great. Okay, thank you.
Well, we can pay more, or we can say that we'll pay more effective, what did he say, April
Well, we've already
15th or
got a
March
something?
through
motion and a
November.
second.
Okay.
March through November.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Okay,
and it would be a roll call vote if there's no more,
okay.
if there's not a change to it.
Okay, roll call vote. Supervisor,
Yes.
clerk, yes. Treasurer,
Yes.
trustee Klein.
Yes.
Okay, motion passed. And now we've got that. Welcome. Good luck. I get the pin on the badge.
You get what?
I get the pin on the badge
Oh,
first time, just to
okay.
see how it fits. Now, you'll have to get sworn in, so might as well stick around after the meeting, we can get it done right away. Okay, millage proposals.
I move we approve and certify to the Briley Township Clerk and the Montmorency County Clerk the ballot language for the parks millage and the cemetery millage, and submit these to the electors of Briley Township for a vote at the presidential primary on March 10th.
Is there support?
I'll second.
And motion and support? For cemetery millage of 1/4 mil and a park millage. Also for 1/4 mil.
I don't have the cemetery one.
Yeah, they should have. I'll ask around.
Both of them for 10 years.
Yeah.
Yes.
I bother him this way.
Bob will know that, for sure. Thank you.
Well, we've got, I know we have some roofs and doors and there's quite a bit of repairs to be done. Actually, both of those areas.
This is really a very small amount for anybody that is a resident, voter, and taxpayer in Briley Township, because for them, it only amounts to about $4 to $5 per parcel. Now, of course, people that own a lot of property, but in terms of people that own one parcel, it only comes out to about $4 or $5 a parcel. And that's because the non-residents will also pay that. And so altogether, we bring in like $8 to $8.50 a parcel. But since half of our taxpayers are non-residents, our residents will only have to pay that small, about half of it. So it's not like, and that's a year, I mean, not a month, that's a year, that's all it amounts to for a year. And I think I'll say something else about that too, that maybe you don't know, but our governor vetoed our swamp tax. And these two millages would bring in about $34,000 if people passed them. But the governor voted our swamp tax, which amounts to $32,000. So if we don't get that swamp tax back, these two millages would give us $2,000 more than this year's budget, and that's all. And we don't know, whether they're gonna work that out between the legislature and her or not. But as of right now, she's vetoed our swamp tax of $32,000. Actually, the swamp tax, the county gets about $147,000, and then the townships together get another $147,000. So when she vetoed that, she jerked basically $300,000 right out of Montmorency County government.
More than that, because you got the other townships also.
Have you
All you
seen-
did is combine Briley's and the county's portions.
So that's a difficulty.
Yeah. The swamp tax really hurts areas that have lots of state land. It's payment in lieu of taxes for, that we won't be getting, and it's a possibility. As it is, as it stands right now, it's not in the state budget, so we are not getting it unless somebody changes something or changes their mind. So we'll be, our budgets will be cut $35,000.
You doing a roll call?
Yeah.
Okay, Klein,
Yes.
Wojcik,
Yes.
clerk, yes. Treasurer,
Yes.
Okay, motion passed. And then park ordinance. Let's go, Mr. Clerk. And I have to admit that, and appreciate Mr. Comber's efforts in writing these ordinances up and, going through all of the motions to get all of this in writing in front of us. Quite a bit of work, and I do appreciate your efforts, even though I don't tell you enough.
thank you. It's not a lot of fun doing this stuff, but it's necessary because a lot of our ordinances are deficient or antiquated or something. So we have to work on them. Now, only real change in this ordinance from the one we had before, it relates, page 2, number 1, A through E, A through C. A through C, that's the only real change from, the one we had before.
So things like having a community bonfire, with this new one, that's not gonna happen anymore?
Well, no, I was down there and I think you and Jay did a fine job of,
But then you amend the park ordinance to say fires are never allowed in any Briley Township park.
yeah, and that's because we don't know if other people will be as conscientious as you and Jay were. So if we wanna, and I don't know if we can make an exception. In other words, if they go down.
I think the last park ordinance spelled it out pretty good what the requirements were. As far as having a fire in the park, I highlighted them and I brought them to you.
Yes, you did.
So why are we gonna turn around and take something that was actually beneficial to the community and no longer allow it?
Well, I don't know if it's beneficial to the community.
I think it was. Honestly, to tell you the truth, you had people out
If anybody can go
there.
down there and do it, I don't think that's beneficial to the community.
It's their park.
If we have responsible people, that's a different thing, like you and Jay were responsible, but how do we know the next people will put in the same safeguards that you did? And not only that, the old ordinance didn't say anything about the DNR fire permits. In other words, there definitely shouldn't be any fire in the park if fire danger is high, and it didn't have that in it. So there's various things about this to look at, and if we want to say that we can have fires under certain circumstances, I don't particularly object to that, but I don't want just anybody to be able to go down there and build a fire.
Shouldn't that be like up to the park attendant to decide?
What?
Yeah, you can say one.
I mean, shouldn't the park attendant decide whether it's safe or not safe, and if it's contained or not contained? No, instead of saying no to everybody,
The
let's
DNR
just-
decides that. That's the DNR's bailiwick to decide whether a fire is safe or unsafe.
On state land,
Hmm?
on their state land, yes.
No, everywhere. They've come by my house a few times and said to me,
If
your
it's
fire's
contained though, they can't, as long as it's in containment, they can't do anything about it.
Well, this contradicts itself multiple times. It says fires are never allowed in Briley Township Park, but then it says fires are only allowed when the DNR fire danger is moderate or low. This isn't ready for approval at all. In fact, if it was me, I think I'd put it out for a public hearing and let the people decide, because this doesn't work the way it's wrote.
Amen.
table it?
I'll make a motion, we have a public hearing for it.
Okay, I'll make a motion to table it.
Don't you have to dispense the first motion before you make a second?
There was already a
Is
motion.
there a second one or the other?
There was one motion, is there, this the only motion? Is this the only motion?
Well, Rick's wasn't seconded.
No, the motion that we're currently under discussion for is adopting this the way it is. That doesn't work for me, and it shouldn't work for anybody.
And I made that motion, I think, so I'll amend it to say that we should table it. And then we'll have another look at it some other time. It's not like it's a rush.
A second to table it.
Hmm?
A second to
Okay.
table it.
Now that we're in discussion again, I'm gonna tell you, I think anytime you find a chance to actively put your name on something as a representative of Briley Township and you don't do it, there's an issue. Every one of you guys knew when this bonfire was gonna be, every one of you knew when the potluck was gonna be. Briley finally has an opportunity to put their name on something healthy and start spearheading cooperation in this community. And outside of myself, Ed Comer was the only one that came to the bonfire.
See, the problem isn't you. The problem is if we allow campfires in the park, how are we gonna police them?
We
And,
have a
you know,
park
you-
attendant.
Well, maybe, but maybe not too. Maybe, I mean, maybe it'll happen when Jay's laid off, for example. You know, because, in the winter or something.
Well, if they have a fire in the park in the wintertime, hopefully the snow is gonna put it out.
Yeah, they are, but I'm not willing to give carte blanche to anybody to have it. I'm willing to give you and Jay carte blanche to have a fire in the park. but not
You
the
can't,
standard.
yeah.
But I can't do that. It has to be all or none. So anyway, it's
I think we
tabled.
need a public hearing on this one.
So anyway, it's, if there's a motion and a second to table it. So, what do you wanna do?
There's a motion and a second to table it, we're discussing it right now.
Are we done?
I can accept tabling it just so we're not adopting it.
Okay.
I think it deserves discussion. Was it?
You wanna
I'm
discuss?
confused. I'm confused right now.
Okay. Why are you confused?
Well, maybe some of that will come clearer during further discussion on this. 'Cause I have to ask whether that was a township function or whether it was,
No, as an individual, I rented the open air pavilion and we hosted a bonfire in the park. It wasn't on behalf of any organization or anything like that, and it doesn't belong to any organization. It belongs to the people of the community. It was something for them to come down and feel good about that wasn't gonna get trashed and belittled or beaten to death over.
I'm all for tabling it and having further discussion.
Okay,